Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we are talking about Mercury in retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. And I know what you're thinking, like, wait, we've already had three of these, like we're doing it 4 times. Yep, unfortunately, yes. Every so many years we have a 3-year, and every so many years we have a 4-year. This just happens to be a 4-year. So it's one of those, sometimes we get a little lucky and sometimes we don't. But let's talk about all things Mercury in retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So I never think Mercury in retrograde is as bad as everybody makes it out to be. I really don't think it's that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. So let's talk about Mercury in retrograde and what we need to know and what we don't need to know and what we need to do for this one, okay? So here we go. So on December 12th, 2022, Mercury goes into pre-shadow energy in the sign of Capricorn. On December 29th, Mercury stations and turn full retrograde, and then on January 18th, Mercury stations and turns direct, so it starts in that post-shadow energy until February 7th, 2023. So like I said, this is the 4th one of 2022 of going into this energy. Capricorn has a very amazing energy to it, and it also has, I think, kind of an interesting kind of phenomenon with it. Is one of the things that's really important is Mercury is, of course, the planet of communication. Cell phones, emails, text messaging. This is like when you post or like something on any of the social media platforms, any of those, that is going to be affected with Mercury in retrograde. Sometimes you will even have like face-to-face communication issues with people. Like you'll say something and they'll be like, I didn't say that. No. And you're like, whoa, slow down. I didn't say that either. What I said was this. And we've got to clear that up like right away. Don't let it linger. Don't do anything else. So I often tell people, especially with Mercury in this sign, it's one of those, Capricorn has a great energy, and when it's in retrograde, it can really amplify some of that energy. So some of it is going to be just being really grounded, and not necessarily a bad thing. People are not going to be wanting to get out too much. It's one of those, when Mercury gets into retrograde in Capricorn, people are being like, I don't want to go to that. So you'll see a lot of people like not wanting to go to parties, not wanting to do things or get together or anything like that. Just happens. Just totally happens that way. One of the other ones is a lot of people in Capricorn's energy kind of get really organized, really realistic about what they want to do or what they don't want to do. They may even really get into that energy of like, I want to set my goals, I want to do this. You may also have people kind of get into that energy of like, what do I want to do in the next year? All that kind of stuff. And that's not bad for the end of 2022 because we're literally going to be in this until 2023. So kind of, it's a great time to really think about what you want to create in your life in the next year. Where do we want to go with that? And like I said, because Capricorn is a earth sign, it can really make us feel a little bit more grounded and a little bit more ready to go. Mercury in Capricorn will be like building ideas, and many of these will be running through our minds of like, how can I get organized? How can I do this easier? How can I get rid of any of the fluff and whatever that I don't really need? You're going to see a lot of people wanting to put the puzzle pieces back together. And kind of arranging how they fit together, so this makes more sense for me in my life, kind of making it easier on me. And once we get our ideas really ready to go, it's going to be like, oh, this is what we need to do. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of like, oh, this is what we get to do. So one of the things that's really interesting is every retrograde has its own energy. So we kind of have like the basic energy of Mercury in retrograde, and then we add that Capricorn energy to it, and kind of like, how does that fall together along with everything else that's in retrograde or in this sign? Kind of that energy of like, what are we going to do? How are we going to deal with this? And like I said, it's going to be a very realistic sign. If you're having miscommunications with people, this will be a great time to kind of like allowing this energy to really lead us where we need to go, what do we need to fix or adjust and modify before we get into 2023. And I know a lot of times people will have commitment issues, stress come up because of retrograde, especially in Capricorn. You may even have job issues or job problems. It's one of those, you may also feel like you're a little depressed. I think a lot of depression hits around the holidays. A lot of times that is just kind of somewhat normal. It's one of those, holidays in the past, maybe we were with someone and now we're separated. I feel that a lot of times. Sometimes we'll have like people that passed, like they're not with us this year. This is their first Christmas without them. And so that can be really like, ooh, stressful and can kind of get us off balance in a lot of ways. World politics will be in chaos during that time frame. So just know that that's happening. We may be really dealing with a lot of change during this retrograde season. And I will say kind of one of the interesting ones is you're going to see a lot of disruptions in many different areas. I will say contracts are going to be one of them. You're going to see a lot of disruptions with deals or people that have been trying to get deals finished before the end of the year. You're going to see a lot of those kind of collapse and fall apart. Really, Capricorn has that very businessman aspect to it. And so it really likes to set its sights on being efficient and successful. Yet at this time, it's one of those, it's going to be really important to kind of keep your dates important. So if you're watching this, make sure that you're getting ready for Mercury in retrograde before it ever gets here. Make sure you're ready. Don't wait till the last minute. A lot of times I start with getting ready for Mercury in retrograde literally almost a month in advance. I literally start a couple, 3 or 4 weeks in advance, kind of getting things finished up that can be finished up, things that need to be left open or working on. I start something in it. Even my newsletters, I literally go in there and I open up my newsletters that are going to be going out during this time frame. I start getting that ready. I start kind of getting ready for what's about to happen, at least starting on it. So during Mercury in retrograde, I'm not starting something new. I'm continuing something that I've already started. See how that works? Kind of being very methodical about what you want to do, how you communicate with other people, and being very cautious. A lot of times people think, well, that's not what I said to the person, and they took it all out of context. You're only responsible for what you say. You're not responsible for what they hear. So it's one of those, if you are having a miscommunication with someone, make sure you slow down and say it one more time. Like, here, let me tell you one more time how this is all supposed to work out. Or let me tell you one more time, this is what I'm really requiring at this time. So that can be a really interesting one. And a lot of times with Capricorn energy, with that Mercury energy, you're going to see a lot of crabby people. I know, kind of a little grumpy, a little bumpy, a little lean, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, this can affect people's jobs. So you may see people like losing their jobs. You may see that in many different sectors and different parts of the world as well. And so make sure that you are ready for all of this and that you are kind of one of those ready for what's about to happen, keeping mindful of how you express yourself, how you come out with things. And if you end up losing your job, just know that it will come back to you, or it's supposed to be something different or changing. A lot of times when people get laid off, they will end up going like, oh my gosh, this is so horrible. And then they realize later on, like, wow, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, was to lose my job because now I get to start my own business, or that sort of thing. So I think that's kind of one of the fun things that kind of happen when we have something like that. It's not easy. I am not saying it's easy at all. What I'm saying is it's understandable. This is something to kind of like not take lightly, but make sure that you're prepared for Mercury in the sign of Capricorn. So let's pull some angel cards and let's get us a little bit deeper insight. I got a couple of them popping up right off the bat. Dreams. We are getting out of Neptune in retrograde right now, but because of this, we can have a lot of crabby people around us, and that can affect our dreams as well. And that can also affect how we move forward in this. What, you know, a lot of times we love Christmas shopping, but if we haven't finished by Mercury in retrograde, we're going to be like, I'm out. I don't like it. I don't like it. Surrender and release anything that doesn't work in your life. And this is all during Capricorn. Capricorn loves to organize and get things. So if there's things that you need to surrender to and let go of, or release it, let it go, let it go. Move into that energy as quickly as possible so it doesn't, this one's popping up from the bottom, right here. Serenity. Be calm about this. I mean, I know some people are like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. The sky isn't falling. You're going to be okay. Everything will come out all right. And just keeping that positive attitude out there and getting ready in advance will really help you. This is truth and integrity. Make sure that you are only speaking your truth and staying with your integrity in any retrograde cycle, but especially in Mercury in retrograde. Literally, I had one pop up right here, and this is body care. Taking care of you during this time frame can be very important. Making sure that you're taking care of you, taking care of your family, and taking some time away from everybody else and kind of getting your own thoughts and your ideas. Like I said, this is a good time to kind of set what you're going to be doing in 2023, and that takes time and energy and thought to go through. So make sure that you are completely ready for Mercury in retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.